We talk about stochastic terrorism so much on this program. Stochastic terrorism, the idea that if you have an audience and you start feeding the vague notion of committing real world violence, even if you direct no individual to commit such violence, that it starts to become statistically likely that someone will indeed commit violence. We've talked about examples of this before. People like Glenn Beck in the past ranting and ranting and ranting about the dangers of the Tides Foundation. And eventually there was a guy stopped by California Highway Patrol armed on the way to attack the Tides Foundation. Glenn Beck didn't direct that particular guy to do it, but given a large enough audience, given enough repetition about someone should really do something about this Tides Foundation, it starts to become likely that such real world violence will take place. This gets us to Stu Peters. This is one of these right-wing, you know how there's all these right-wing channels that are sort of obscure and they have this Reawaken America tour where they go out in person. It's kind of like a circus tent revival type atmosphere. And they say really crazy and dangerous things. Stu Peters delivered what can only be described as a bloodthirsty rant during which he calls for the killing of people. This is really worth looking at and understanding how they do this. Let's take a listen right now.
Drag Tony Fauci out of retirement. We're going to put him in the docket. We will force him to confront his lies about gain-of-function research. We will read off every single one of the emails that he sent exposing the research that he funded at that bioweapons lab called the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We'll expose all of the emails he sent organizing and promoting the lies that covered it all up. And we will hold him accountable for the millions of lives that his illegal research cost. And when he is convicted, after a short and fast but thorough trial, he will hang from a length of thick rope until he is dead.
And this, if you're not watching, generates a standing ovation. Let's kill people, including 80-plus-year-old doctors who have devoted their careers to public health. What? And they stand up and cheer. And when we talk about stochastic terrorism, it's you're in that crowd, you stand up and cheer, but you see the approval of the people around you standing and cheering the idea of killing Fauci. And someone in the room says to themselves, hey, you know what? I could be the guy to do it. I could be the guy to go out and do it. And then this entire room would be cheering for me instead of for Stu Peters. That's how stochastic terrorism works.
Then we will put Hunter Biden on trial.
Uh-oh.
Not for tax evasion, not for some phony gun violation or money laundering. No, we're going to put him on trial for the real crime that he committed, treason.
What? Now remember, not only is there no evidence for Hunter Biden committing treason, there is also no investigation into treason by Hunter Biden. This is totally fabricated.
Selling this country off to rich oligarchs in China and Volodymyr Zelensky's Ukraine. And when he's convicted for those crimes, he will get the punishment that traitors like Julius and Ethel Rosenberg received before him, death. Alejandro Mayorkas is a treasonous traitor, and in the world that we are going to build, traitors will hang.
This is another standing ovation. And as you can see, they are quite literally in what is almost like a circus tent. You really have to understand that this stuff has an impact. Yes, these are lunatic extremists. Yes, this is horribly dehumanizing rhetoric. This is calling for violence. It's calling for discrimination. It's divulging and spreading misinformation. The language is disgusting. All of it. It's bigoted. It's all of those different things. But we really need to take this seriously because the group of people, broadly speaking, not necessarily the people in this tent, although maybe, we don't know, but we know that these are people who are willing to do violence. We know, I mean, go all the way back to whatever year it was, 2017, 2018. when that Trump supporter was caught with a bunch of pipe bombs and he was going to be bringing them to different locations. Remember when, we see the examples of everything that led to January 6th and the hundreds of people, hundreds of Trump supporters that were willing to commit crimes on January 6th. These people are genuinely willing to go out and do violence. The vast majority of the left is not willing to do that. It's just the reality. And you don't have to take my word for it. Take a look at the statistics on those who go out and commit domestic terrorism, politically motivated terrorism. You see that it is almost exclusively right-wingers. Is there the occasional so-called eco-terrorist? Yes. Are they often committing crimes never against people, but against property? Yes, almost exclusively. That's not a defense, but there is a difference between committing acts of violence against people versus, an empty oil rig or piece of a pipeline, or who knows. I'm not defending it. It's still a crime. It's still going to be prosecuted. But this is a group that these people speak to that we know is willing to go out and commit real world violence. Now, should Stu Peters be prosecutable for the things he said there? I don't think that that's what the law says. I think that everything he says there is still very blurrily on the line of just legal speech. But we need to we can recognize that it's a danger without saying that these words are crimes. And I know people will say, David, you're trying to violate his free speech rights. No, I'm not trying to violate any. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure that everything he said is legally completely fine. The problem is he's speaking to a political constituency that we know is willing to go out and do violence. And this is really dangerous stuff. Fauci needs security. That's how we know these people are really in danger, when people like Stu Peters go on these bloodthirsty rants. Horrible, disturbing stuff.